Welcome to Sunset News on Sunday, the 16th of April. In this half hour, we bring you the latest news, stories from the community, economic news and indicators, tomorrow's weather and sport. I am Ashwin Berry. In the news tonight, residents of Okahanja informal settlements have given the Minister of Rural Development, Erastus Utoni, 2 weeks to address their concerns or they will stage a demonstration at the ministerial offices. The residents, who have been living in dire conditions for years, are demanding basic services such as water, sanitation and electricity. Community activist Seth Gariseb told the Namibian Sun that despite numerous appeals to the local authorities and the ministry, their situation has not improved, and they are now taking matters a step further. If Utoni does not come and see our living conditions, then we will demonstrate and not leave until he sees us, Gariseb fervently stated. Sophia Shaningwa, SWAPO Secretary General, has made it clear that they have only one presidential candidate, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, for the 2024 presidential elections. She said this during the SWAPO Elders Council Central Committee members' first CC meeting in Windhoek yesterday.
Now, as your Secretary General, I should here reconfirm with you again that during the 7th Congress of SWAPO Party 2022, there was no pending issues that would give us a right or some responsibilities to again hold an extraordinary Congress come this year or next year, as some of the people are confusing the masses out there. So we do not have any pending agenda for a reason to call the extraordinary Congress. And therefore, I just want to reconfirm again what you have said, that we only have one candidate out of the Congress that was in 2022, and that candidate is Comrade Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah. Thank you very much. I should now proceed and engage you and deliver the statement of our Vice President as entrusted. And I do not want to tamper with what she has said. And I'm going to start as requested. I'm pleased to have been accorded the opportunity to officially open the first meeting of the Central Committee of SWAPO Party Elders Council, SPEC, since its 7th Congress, which took place in July 2020.
The Education Director in Oshana Region, Hileni Amukana, said that more than 15,000 learners are vulnerable and living in poverty. We have a list of learners who are vulnerable in the region. These learners sometimes do not go to school, and the number is more than 15,000, she said. She added that some learners tend to live alone at homesteads or with their grandparents and survive merely off their pension, which may not be enough. Amukana, who was speaking at a donation of school uniforms by the David Namwandi Trust this past weekend at Okapia, said that the region has 58,000 learners. She called upon stakeholders and individuals who are standing better economically and socially to support education. According to Amukana, the government has put a law that every learner needs to go with a school uniform, a full one. We find our learners that do not have proper school uniform, and some do not have school shoes, she said. Reacting to these figures, former Education Minister and founder of the International University of Management, Professor David Namwandi, said that it is very painful that such a huge number of learners are vulnerable in the Oshana region. Obeth Kanjode, the head of the National Planning Commission, said there is an increasing demand from several sectors who wish to be a part of Namibia's green hydrogen project. Kanjode made these remarks at the Karas Region Update meeting on green hydrogen project attended by President Hage Geingob. According to him, there are interested parties that would like to propose to government and Namibia about to witness history in the making, as they are soon to sit down with a preferred bidder for a piece of the pie. Several governments are still looking for a bid, head of the place and having looked at what would escalate into a cabinet chaired by the president for final decision making, he said. Rainer Bakker, Special Commissioner for German-Namibian Climate and Energy Corporation, who also attended the event, said while green hydrogen brings a lot of opportunities, there remains several challenges. Luderitz Mayor Benjamin McKay said they have seen a revival of the town as the discovery of oil off the coast of Namibia has already created jobs for locals, but they need government to urgently invest in urban planning and road infrastructure of the town. He emphasized that the readiness of Luderitz to offer conducive for the investors and businesses in the oil and green hydrogen projects, they do not have the required sources to provide all services needed to make it a reality. Rundu Rural Constituency Councillor Paulus Mbangu says Namibia's independence was not attained to see the country have its mineral resources be exploited by multinational companies in exchange of a mere 10% share, which he regards as a joke. Speaking at a belated independence celebration at Mangwangombe village at the weekend, Mbangu stressed that it is time for governments to take charge of the resources of the country, saying that they are our God-given resource and needs to benefit the Namibian people and not foreign exploiters. There must be no exploitation of resources without our participation. The 10% royalties that investors are paying to the government is a joke. It needs to be increased. It is our God-given resources, Mbangu said. Multinational companies are in charge of our mines, banks, and even our agriculture sector. We must stop bowing to neocolonialism and imperialism. We refuse to believe that we can't manage our own resources. We have come here to remind every Namibian that the sacrifices of our heroes and heroines should never be betrayed. With the right leadership, Namibia can become the most prosperous country on the African continent. Namibia is endowed with abundant natural resources. Namibia produces diamonds, uranium, copper, magnesium, zinc, silver, gold, lead, semi-precious stones, and industrial minerals. We should be in charge of our own resources, he said. Now, in community news, after the break, we focus on the Stan Sam informal settlement, home to hundreds of residents who have been living in deplorable sanitary conditions for 11 years. Stay with us. In the outskirts of Okahanja lies the Stan Sam informal settlement, home to hundreds of residents who have been living in deplorable sanitary conditions for 11 years. Despite efforts by the local authorities to improve the living conditions by installing a communal tap in 2020 as the global pandemic hit, the situation remains dire, with residents forced to resort to primitive means to meet their daily needs. Open dump sites have become the only option for urinating, defecating, and even disposing of their waste. At night, residents must risk being robbed or even raped as they make their way to dump sites. Paulina Ruyanasi, a mother of 3 and Stan Sam resident, said plaintively, "We have no choice but to use the dump site as toilets because we don't have lavatory facilities at home. We have such small, cramped spaces of land that you either have to relieve yourself in a bucket in your home and dispose of it when everyone is asleep, and if the bucket is full, you have to go to the dump site. It's dangerous, especially for our women and children." Rainy season, the already terrible living conditions in the Stan Sam informal settlement in Okahanja worsen during the rainy season, compounding the already dire situation. The open dump sites clog drainage systems, leading to the accumulation of water. This water, contaminated with human waste and garbage, seeps into people's homes, creating a dangerous living environment that poses a threat to their health. We just live like this. Does the municipality not see? When the rain comes, the dirty water comes into our homes and makes us and our children sick. When they're sick, it's difficult to care for them because there is only one water source and sometimes it's not even functional, lamented 45-year-old resident Hilaria Abisai. The water crisis in Stan Sam extends far beyond having a single water source. Residents must also contend with petty crime as thieves target the water cards, which cost $400 million per month. Demanding action, the Stansam community is calling the municipality to urgently address and act on the severe sanitation and water crisis that has been plaguing the area for years. In an interview with the Namibian Sun, community representative and elder Erigiri Andimba stated that they are willing to pay for services such as water and electricity, provided the municipality services their land and allows them to purchase it. They say they don't have money, but they don't want money. Why they don't service our land and make money from the water and electricity bills, that will be settling. Until when will we live like this? They say next year, next month, but they never do anything, she said. Members of the community also explained that they have brought the situation to the attention of the municipality several times through letters requesting for temporary earth numbers and electricity. We attend community meetings and deliver letters to their offices, yet nothing happens, Andimba added. We'll be heading into economic news shortly as we look at the latest from Shell.
Hey, don't worry about the car, boss. I checked nice.
Thank you, but it's okay, ne? F&B Insurance. Checks nicer.
No.
At F&B Insurance, we provide cover for all your valuables, from your car to your laptop to your phone. F&B Insurance. You value it, we cover it. T's and C's apply.
Heading into economic news, Shell has submitted proposals to conduct drilling activities for up to 10 new exploration and appraisal wells in Namibia's offshore waters after discovering light oil in 3 locations. This is according to a report published by the energy website Upstream Online. In February last year, Shell successfully completed drilling its first exploration well in PEL 39, confirming a working petroleum system and the presence of light oil. Shortly thereafter, Shell in April announced a second Orange Basin discovery, also in PEL 39, with the La Rona 1 well. Last month, the Global Energy Group announced a light oil discovery in the Yonka 1X deepwater exploration well, also located in the Orange Basin and about 270 kilometers off the coast of Namibia. We are delighted to announce this third oil discovery after the success of the Graph 1X and Venus 1X discoveries by Shell and Total Energies in 2022. This discovery has proven the exciting and world-class potential of the deepwater Orange Basin. The Ministry of Mines and Energy commented on Yonka 1. The Orange Basin has quickly become one of the most exciting hydrocarbon plays in the region, as the discoveries have been rumored to be among the largest African crude discoveries in recent decades. Cirrus Capital said in a report last year, billions should Shell's and Total Energies discoveries be commercially viable. Investment flows into Namibia around $29 billion. The international consultancy firm Wood Mackenzie estimates at the current exchange rate it will be more than 500 billion Namibian dollars, about 2.5 times Namibia's nominal gross domestic product last year. According to Wood Mackenzie, the Shell and Total Energies discoveries could potentially deliver about 6.5 billion barrels of oil, resulting in some 60 billion Namibian dollars in royalties and taxes flowing into state coffers annually. Let's have a look at the economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is down next to these major currencies, trading at 18.08 next to the US dollar, and 19.88 Namibian dollars gets you €1. Looking at commodities, gold managed to maintain its value whilst copper, zinc and Brent crude oil made upsurges of 0.32%, 2.55% and 0.37% respectively. In international news tonight, we zone in on the latest developments from the unrest in Sudan. Stay with us. Heading into international news, Sudan's army launched airstrikes on a rival paramilitary forces base near the capital in a bid to reassert control over the chaotic country on Sunday after a power struggle erupted into clashes that killed 56 civilians and dozens of fighters. The fighting broke out on Saturday between army units loyal to General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the Rapid Support Forces led by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, known as Hemedti. It was the first such outbreak since both joined forces to oust President Omar Hassan al-Bashir in 2019. International powers, United States, China, Russia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and the United Nations, European Union, and African Union have appealed for an immediate end to the hostilities. Efforts by neighbors and regional bodies to end the violence intensified today. That included an offer by Egypt and South Sudan to mediate between the fighting parties, according to a statement by the Egyptian presidency. The two rivals in Sudan have been competing for power as political factions negotiate forming a transitional government after a 2021 military coup. In the early hours of today, residents reported hearing gunfire and explosions from heavy artillery through the night. Al Arabiya television broadcast footage shows thick plumes of smoke rising over some districts in Khartoum. Stay with us as we head into the weather shortly.
Muscle and joint pain should not be the reason you can't perform at your best. Norflex Gel. It also shouldn't be the reason you miss that important deadline. Norflex Gel. Or miss those precious moments that matter the most. Norflex Gel. Norflex Gel penetrates through the skin, numbing the area and relieving pain and inflammation. Norflex Gel is now available in the pharmacy aisle and in supermarkets. New Norflex Gel Forte is available for stronger anti-inflammatory action.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel.
You are still with Sunset News. Let's have a look at what you can expect from the weather predictions. Windhoek is expecting a 14-degree minimum, thunderclouds with the sun popping up a little bit. Ennana, however, is very hot, as is Oshakati, expecting 34 degrees maximum. Lüderitz is much hotter, 39 degrees maximum expected, whilst the coast is looking partly cloudy. Rehoboth, 13-degree minimum expected. The much-anticipated match between Afrocats and the Namibian Correctional Services netball team took place on Saturday afternoon. We'll be getting into that and more sports stories after the break. Heading into sport on Sunset News, the much-anticipated match between Afrocats and the Namibian Correctional Services netball team took place on Saturday afternoon. Namibia Correctional Services came out victorious after beating Afrocats Lions 38-30 in a tightly contested match at the Israel Patrick Iyambo Police College. The other team is really formidable and physical. However, we knew that coming in, we had to make it a point to prepare ourselves accordingly, said NCS coach Jerry Toy. He further touched on the incident where the Afro coach had to be excused off the court due to remarks and complaints he made, describing it as unfortunate but normal, as he believes netball can become quite passionate. When asked about his team's performance, Afrocats coach Dimitri Bittler said, "It was a tight game. I think my team and I can go to the drawing board and fix a few things, but apart from that, it was a great game." He further stated that he was not happy with some of the calls that some of the umpires made and that they lacked some consistency. An Afrocats Lions player who plays as a center and wing defense for the Lions acknowledged that the team needs to improve on certain aspects if they are to go forward. "Not everything went according to plan, as we were planning on playing more short balls, but it did not work out. I do still believe we did our best," the player stated. New national long jump record holder Lionel Coetzee hopes he can just get better after an incredible 8.27 meter jump at the Independence Stadium on Saturday, breaking Stefan Loh's 8.24 meter record set in January 2008. Coetzee, who was in fine form, got the crowd on their feet with an unbelievable jump to smash the long-standing record. Speaking to network television after the event, the jumper said he was proud of the achievement and is looking forward towards obtaining bigger distances. I started just in 2017 and today I managed to break the record, which is something I am very proud about. I just want to thank everyone that has supported me throughout my journey because it wouldn't have been possible without them. The president told me that the jump has made me qualify to bigger global spectacles like the World Championships, and I can only build from that, Coetzee said. The long jump was the only event that produced a national record, but organizers were, however, pleased with how the event turned out. Manchester City goal machine Erling Haaland reached yet another milestone in his incredible debut season in the Premier League when his 2 goals helped his side beat Leicester City 3-1 and move to within 3 points of leaders Arsenal on Saturday. The Norwegian's brace took his tally to 32 goals for the season, equaling the record total for a 38-game season, with reigning champions City still having 8 league games remaining. In the race to finish in the top 4, third-placed Newcastle slumped to a 3-0 defeat at a resurgent Aston Villa, but were relieved when 5th-placed Tottenham Hotspurs later went down 3-2 at home to relegation battlers Bournemouth. Frank Lampard suffered a 3rd consecutive defeat since returning to Chelsea as interim manager in the wake of Graham Potter's sacking, his side losing 2-1 at home to a Brighton and Hove Albion side still in the hunt for European qualification. Southampton's 10-year stay in the top flight is in grave danger of ending as the bottom club went down 2-0 at home to almost safe Crystal Palace, for whom Eberechi Eze scored twice to maintain Roy Hodgson's 100% record since taking charge. Stay with Sunset News as we head into your highlights after the break. Let's get into the highlights from this evening's broadcast. Residents of Okahanja informal settlements have given the Minister of Rural Development, Erastus Utoni, 2 weeks to address their concerns, or they will stage a demonstration at the ministerial offices. The residents, who have been living in dire conditions for years, are demanding basic services such as water, sanitation and electricity. Shell has submitted proposals to conduct drilling activities for up to 10 new exploration and appraisal wells in Namibia's offshore waters after discovering light oil in 3 locations. This is according to a report published by the energy website Upstream Online. In February last year, Shell successfully completed drilling its first exploration well, confirming a working petroleum system and the presence of light oil. New national long jump record holder Lionel Coetzee hopes he can just get better after an incredible 8.27-meter jump at the Independence Stadium on Saturday, breaking Stefan Loh's 8.24-meter record set in January 2008. Coetzee, who was in fine form, got the crowd on their feet with an unbelievable jump to smash the long-standing record. Speaking to network television after the event, the jumper said he was proud of the achievement and is looking forward towards attaining bigger distances. All right, that brings us to the end of our broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all Namibia Media Holdings platforms, on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneuptwo.com. Sunset News screens on DSTV, GoTV every weekday and Sunday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. I am Ashwin Bedi. This has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.